Absolutely. All right. So up next, we had our Intercontinental Championship triple threat match: RVD versus Cesaro versus Bad News Barra.
This was a fun match. I think this was a kind of match that I think is quite suitable for RVD because he really shined here and got in all of his signature offense. And I think it looks even more impressive when you have two talented guys to work off of rather than just one. Like, for example, there was one spot in this match where RVD does his typical, and I can actually say that with RVD and not, overlook impressiveness, his typical rolling thunder, but instead of hitting, say, Wade Barrett or Cesaro individually, he hits both of them.
Right.
So I think a triple threat structure really works to the benefit of RVD's, athleticism because it definitely gives it a glossier look than if it was just on a one-to-one basis.
Yeah, I feel like RVD is that sprinter rather than the marathon runner, where he can show up and be really impressive for 2 minutes, but then he needs to take a break, which is why he's so well suited for these multi-man matches because he can afford to take a break, and the other two guys will carry the load until he's ready to come back and dazzle with his moves again.
Exactly. I felt like this match, because you don't really look at multi-man matches for their abilities to tell stories or this and that, because really I think what sells them is chaos. But I like the story they were telling early on with Barrett and Van Dam both ganging up on Cesaro because they had their beef with him, and Cesaro really had to assert himself to gain any kind of an advantage, which he did with a beautiful uppercut to Van Dam at one point. Then he took Barrett out. Then he nailed his gut wrench suplex to RVD. So Cesaro really looking strong, but unfortunately not strong enough to nab gold, Ashton.
No, absolutely not. RVD with the 5-star frog splash, but then he doesn't really go straight for the pin because he stands up and he eats a bull hammer to the face. So Bad News Barrett retains, and we move on. At which point I'm going to let John gush here because I know he loved this. Bray Wyatt cut a promo and go.
Yeah, no, guys, this promo was fantastic. I'll get to the content in just a second, but I want to preface it by saying I don't know if this promo was enough, in my eyes personally, to recover from his most recent loss at Payback, but I will say it was an excellent foundation at best. He pretty much says, when John Cena put me in that tomb at Payback, all the memories came back to me. And I remembered why I hate this world and why, he all the darkness and stuff like that. And then he said, but I heard a voice call out to me. It was Abigail. She said, in death, you will find peace, and the sharks that circle you now, they will follow you one day, because you will be reborn. And pretty much the essence is that John Cena pretty much burying Bray Wyatt, which so many people have joked about, he's actually turned it into an asset because he said, by John Cena burying me, he has laid the groundwork. He's opened up the floodgates for my rebirth. Now, that's scary because he kind of said something similar when Bryan initially turned on him, showed that him joining the Wyatt family was a ruse to get Bray 1-to-1 in a steel cage. And he said something similar because he said, hey, Bryan taught me, or he showed me the monster that I'm supposed to be. He opened up my eyes. With Cena, I think he's saying the same thing, Ashton, but I think he takes it one step further, which piques my interest one more level, because I can, in all honesty, say we've seen Bray do this before, because in a way we have, but I think, again, Bray's gone even further with it. What did you think of this promo?
I agree with pretty much everything you said. The one main concern that I have, I don't want Bray Wyatt to turn into an excuse maker. I don't want this guy to, every time he loses, say, oh, well, I meant to do that.
Right. I get exactly what you're saying, and I hope that they avoid those pitfalls, but the best way to do that is, don't have Bray suffer losses where he would have to offer excuses. Like, I think what the beautiful thing with the program with Bryan was, fine, Bryan got a leg up on him in the cage, and it was an amazing moment, probably one of the best TV moments, of that year. It was just really incredible, the crowd and everything else. What was good, though, for Bray was that he beat Bryan at the Rumble. And I know, I keep saying that, but guys, everything about that match was perfect. He sent the Wyatt family to the back. He told them flat out that we could hear him, I don't need you to win this war for me. And he went toe-to-toe with Daniel Bryan for, I think, a little over 20 minutes. Like, they had a clinic. and Bray won in a dominant fashion with 2 Sister Abigails.
Yep.
One on the barricade and then one in the ring. So that was okay. Now, I have told Ashton that if this feud with Cena is going to continue, there's only one thing I want. There's only one way that I feel like John Cena, in my eyes, could compensate for his misdeeds, that being the win in the Last Man Standing match. Have Bray beat John Cena in the one match that would be like Undertaker losing his streak, and that would be an I Quit match. Because Cena never quits, but Bray has got to find that switch, flip it, and get Cena to do the near impossible. If this feud is continuing, which something tells me that it is, I don't think their business is over. If it's continuing, that's the match I want. Absolutely.
Why?
Because I really believe that if Bray has been reborn and he still wants a piece of Cena, that's the best thing they can do in my eyes. That's the last thing that I could really see myself wanting to see these two do, especially if Bray would come out on top. And honestly, if anybody
that's
could
the
beat...
thing, though. Like, if Bray just literally lost 2 consecutive matches to Cena, both of which Cena didn't even take seriously, and Bray did, how am I supposed to believe that Bray Wyatt can beat John Cena at the one match that Cena has literally never lost in?
And I completely see what you're saying. I'm just saying that if this feud between Bray and Cena is going to continue, this to me is the only viable route to take. Because to me, a Hell in a Cell wouldn't really make sense. Any other type of match to me wouldn't really gel or make sense. I think this, to me, is the logical course of this kind of feud to take. Again, if it's continuing. I personally hope that it's not. I personally hope that Bray goes on to do something new. I don't want him anywhere near Cena, because everything you just said, believe me, I was thinking about it while I was saying what I was saying just a second ago. But if Bray is really reborn and he sees things so clearly, maybe he sees where everybody else has failed, the JBLs, the Randy Ortons, the Batistas, and maybe he sees how to make Cena quit. And I think that would be a brilliant ending, but one that probably won't happen. So I don't know. I'm conflicted. That's just my piece. I don't know.
You know what?
Yes or no?
Let me put it this way. The only way that I can see a Bray Wyatt-John Cena feud continuing and being acceptable or justifiable is if Bray makes Cena quit by threatening either Nikki Bella or a kid that Cena's close to.
And I think that's exactly how Bray would do it. And that, honestly, even before the feud with Bray, I always thought to myself, the only way I think Cena would ever lose an I Quit match is if somebody he loved or just cared about, generally speaking, was in harm's way. That's it. And I feel like Bray would go to those lengths because they have made it a point that Bray is, quote unquote, drunk with power or delusional. So I don't even think he sees any kind of a line that, should or should not be crossed. I just think he is. I just think he is destruction incarnate, and he wants to devour the world, and that's how it should be. That's why we love Bray. Again, I personally don't want to see this feud continue. But if they were to do an I Quit match, one last time, I'd put the chips on the table, and I'd probably go home broke. I fully recognize that, but if anybody can do it, I think Bray can.
I like your reasoning, though. I will say that. I do like your reasoning.
I appreciate that, because again, I totally see where you're coming from, dude. Just Bray will never cease to fascinate me, whether he wins, whether he loses, because he has that way to keep you with him. And I really can't say that about many guys on the roster, and Bray's definitely one of them.
Absolutely. So we go from Sister A-BO-Gail to Sistah Foxy with Alicia Fox versus Natalya. The match wasn't really anything to write home about, but Alicia Fox is adorable and hilarious and needs to be on television every episode.
Yeah, no, she is definitely, I think, one of, if not the most entertaining thing in the Divas division right now, because I love Paige, dude, and her mic work is nice when she gets to actually cut a promo. But, I mean, this is actual charisma, I think, and just an entertaining product that Alicia Fox is putting out outside of the ring. And she can go in the ring, too, which certainly doesn't hurt matters. You're right, the match really wasn't anything to write home about. I, again, find myself infuriated with Natalya because Alicia Fox is going to shake Natalya's hand. Natalya accepts it, but it's not the heel who breaks the handshake. No, Natalya pulls Alicia Fox down to the ground, and she stomps on her hand. Real classy.
So it is
right,
a heel. It is the heel then.
Yeah, it is. Yes. But, yeah, me and Ashton both found that to be incredibly classy, and that's why Natalya is our favorite diva on Total Divas. And if you survive that sarcasm, you'll be happy to know that Alicia Fox had another great temper tantrum after this match.
Yes, she did. She didn't really do anything too memorable, though, other than just, like, the typical freak out, yelling at people. Although she did corner Lillian Garcia. That was kind of hilarious.
Yeah, that was, like, I was so fearful for Lillian. I am like, what is happening right now? But she came out okay.
Yeah, she came out just fine. Alicia was just trying to find whoever rang the bell. She thought it was Lillian, but she's kind of silly, so she didn't know.
Yeah, we can forgive you, Foxy. It's okay.
All right, so after the Foxy freakout, we had we go from Sister Abigail to Sistah Foxy to Sistah A-BO-gail. Oh!
At
Bo
least
Dallas versus Santino Marella.
And you know what, guys? And talk about moments for the TwitWow archives. I'm actually really glad that Santino was Santino in this match. This is probably going to be the only time I really appreciate his gimmick for what it is, because I believe it was the perfect foil for Bo Dallas.
I agree.
Yeah, no, they shake hands, which was great, because not many other guys have done that yet. I think Santino was the first. Bo gets a fireman's carry early on, like within the first few seconds of the match, and already he's doing his victory lap. And even Santino concedes. That was good. And then they shake hands again. So I'm thinking, oh, this is great. Santino's doing exactly what I wanted him to do. He's being Santino. You know, he's being that nice comedic guy, whatever. Santino, I don't know if it was I think it was an arm drag he got in quick succession. Bo kind of looks at him, and Santino just goes out. He's like, wait. And then he goes out, and then he does his victory trumpet, his air trumpet. And he goes back in, and he just thinks that him and Bo are having a good time. Bo kind of smiles it off. They go to shake hands a third time, and Bo clotheslines him. Why I'm so happy that Santino was a part of this match, Ashton, we finally got to see the aggressive mean streak, or at least just a little bit of it, from Bo Dallas.
Yup. Dude, we almost predicted this, too. Like, before the match, we were both saying, oh, how great would it be if, because Santino is like the comedic, kind of goofy, lovable loser, Bo just freaked out and attacked him and beat the crap out of him and squashed him, and then cut a promo afterwards talking about how Santino was talking trash and how he's not a real Bo lever. But it didn't really work out exactly that way, but he definitely did show his aggressive side for the first time on WWE television, for the first time against Santino.
Yeah, it was a terrific sight to see. Again, Santino played his role perfectly, and you're probably never going to hear me be this complimentary of Santino again, so Santino fans, please do enjoy it, because, yeah, he was perfect for this role. And after the match, he did exactly what Ashton said. He cut that promo, and he said, Emma, I just want you to know, Santino's not a loser. He did his best. And when you do your best, you're a winner in life. All you have to do is Bo leave. I freaking love it, man. Freaking love it.
Comedic brilliance.
Oh, by the way, folks, 5-0. 5-0.
Wow. Moving up in the world.
When he wins the championship, man, it is going to be the best thing.
I want him to win Money in the Bank. No, I'm just kidding.
You know what? I could legitimately see him pulling like not a Sandow in terms of winning, but a Sandow in terms of like his rookie year on the main roster, qualifying for that match, so he gets a nice bit of pay-per-view exposure. But we'll see what happens.